Learning to relax. We're very relaxed right now. Okay, so Darius, listen, your first time in Vegas, I invited you out here. I said, you got to come out here for the WPT. You're like, I'm in. You came out here for my meetup game. You're 27.
26.
You're 26. Okay.
20,
I feel you're so young. I mean, listen, I'm getting old now, 37.
I must be 27 now. It's been a long fortnight.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. So 26, you're from Sydney, but you're living in London right now.
Yeah, living in like Brixton in London.
Brixton. Okay. So you're living in Brixton. You play poker full time. You do coaching full time. You got a coaching stable, or you have like, not a stable, but you have a coaching group. You got a bunch of students in there. And what are these guys playing in there? Like 500 L, 200 L? Like what kind of stakes people are you coaching?
Yeah, at the moment, the group coaching, the average is between like 200 and 500 now. It's mostly like mid-stakes players looking to break into high stakes or just find like more consistency and clarity in their approach.
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of people who are just trying to like figure out like why they're still playing poker now that they have kind of like beaten the game in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
First challenge is actually just know you're a seriously like winning professional player. And then I guess like the prize is you get to keep doing that. So you better figure out how to like enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, talking with you right away, I can already tell you definitely think about poker and the process of getting better at poker in a much different way than a lot of people out there that I've been hearing lately in terms of, the content I'm seeing out there. So that's why I find a lot of stuff you've been sharing on Twitter pretty interesting, kind of sharing your thought process, sharing how you think about the mindset and kind of getting to know you more. You said, you coached 100 people. So you've been working with people for a few years now. And it seems like you must have a pretty good understanding of how to take people from a level where they're pretty good to like one of the higher levels that you can maybe get with online poker right now.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get. There's a lot of noise in terms of like what you actually need to be focusing on in poker, and there's a lot of things that can actually like take you quite far, but then they kind of like become your limitation. Like there's never a shortage of stuff to work on. Like the tricky thing is the most valuable things to be working on are in our blind spots typically. It's like people can't see the things that they are completely oblivious to that are actually important, or it can be really hard to see like the simple solution to like just a problem like that you don't actually have.
So do you have any specific examples of anything that stand out to you when you're thinking about this? Because I know you have you have some, like you said, right? There's so much noise, so much fucking information out there now. Everybody got a course, everybody making a video, everybody got a solver, everybody got a process or a structure on what they're teaching. And if you're a consumer, you're looking at all this information, like what am I really supposed to be thinking about or paying attention to? And I think that is a huge challenge for people out there these days, is just the gluttonous of information out there.
Yep, it can be overwhelming too, because like I think most people aren't even clear on what they like need to work on. There's like endless stuff you can pay attention to that like is potentially busy work or is potentially exactly what you need to be doing. It's like the standard now is just to like look at solver libraries or like watch random coaching videos, or like for a lot of people just like watching streams where not much actual strategy is talked about. And then even in the high level content you see in terms of like theory, they often it just gets very abstract. You end up studying toy games and like how PO plays against PO, not necessarily working on things that are actually practically giving you more of an edge. It's easy to like grind sims where like actually just looking at like 2 sims and having a conversation with someone where you unpack what's going on. Like if you can't get to that point where you can actually interpret what the output you're looking at means, then you're sort of doing busy work. You're just like stacking random ideas on top of each other and it has no solid foundation.
So can you share like maybe a specific example of how this might look in real time? Like maybe walk through a process that somebody might do that might be taking them down a path that isn't really helping them out, versus like what the correct process or correct way to think about it might be, or a different way to think about it might be.
Well, like say it's just like you've seen a pre-flop chart online, like you've found these pre-flop ranges, and then you just like go to a like local low stakes live game and like you open under the gun, someone 3-bets you, and then like you just know that like this you actually have this like 4-bet bluff sometimes like deep, and that's like just a case of like potentially misapplying the ranges, right? Like why are those ranges the way they are? How did those ranges come to be? Why are you following them? Because if it's for the wrong format, it's sort of useless to you. So there's a lot of things like that where people don't realize how the sims they're looking at got made. It's like, oh, that's GTO poker. It's like, no, that's what happens when you give that solver these inputs, these ranges, and these bet sizes through that algorithm. That's all that is. And so we can't actually get away from having to look at that and then decide what we're going to do with that. Like, what did we learn? What strategy are we going to play? Like, what did we actually learn from this thing? Because just looking at them and memorizing it doesn't help.
And so now you told me you're very passionate about coaching. I mean, that's something that you said you dream about, making coaching videos, like really teaching people. Obviously, you got 100 students, right? Anybody that takes on that many students probably really loves to coach or loves to teach or loves to work with people. So it seems like you got a knack, or you've got this hunger for competition, for growth, for improvement. And you've been using poker and now kind of using the process of coaching others to be able to do that, move up the stakes, to shift their mindset to, because I mean, I think we maybe both agree that a lot of winning poker consistently comes down to the way that you set your mindset and the way that you're thinking about yourself and about the world and about life and about the game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, poker is just the best way I've found to like live the good life, ideally. But I think most people don't end up doing that, even like successful professionals. It's easy to just keep playing from a bad motivational system, I guess. Like a lot of people, like I know I got into poker as a means of like survival, or like not having to go down like a traditional career path. I just couldn't see myself tolerating it. I needed to be self-employed. I needed freedom, or at least I definitely believed that at the time. So I like went into it just as sort of like a Hail Mary. Like I got to win this money to basically buy my freedom, or like be able to like sustain myself, so people can't like make me do things I don't want to do. And then it like once I reached the point where it was like, oh, I actually have that degree of freedom. Like still now I'm like learning how to make use of it.
Right.
Like it's so easy to just be like, oh, I should just grind more, because I got my identity is wrapped up in like, oh, I overcome that challenge. Now I'm a successful poker pro with this money. The way I get validation is going to just be to continue to like make money. For me, that got really like soul sucking really quickly, because like if I'm just crushing the game I'm playing, fantastic economic opportunity, great. I'm basically rich, you know, if I can just sit and win hundreds of dollars an hour at a card game. I don't feel the need to even actualize all of that at the moment, because it's like if I need money, I can kind of just go and get that. So that skill set for me is like achievement unlocked. And so that's what I'm trying to develop personally. It's like, what do I understand, or like what skill set do I have? Like what's my potential in the world? Like what do I actually want to happen, and can I make that happen? Developing that, and then everything else sort of comes from it. Whereas if I'm looking to the results, I'll never be satisfied, because I always just want more money, or I get to a certain milestone, and like what then?
Right. Where does that take you? Yeah, I mean, I think every professional poker player that's been playing the game for a long time, once they have success, or once they beat the game, once they get to the highest stakes, a certain person can start to question like, oh, well, what am I going to do next? Or what am I going to do now? Or where do I go from here? And it sounds like you're saying, and something I've kind of been coming to is that instead of like maybe shifting away completely from the game of poker and embracing the game of poker, embracing the challenge of getting better at poker, maybe take a step back and just focus a little bit less on poker and learn to enjoy the other parts of our life. And through that process, then our poker actually gets better, because our ability to be happy improves, our ability to want to play improves, our ability to be motivated or to be inspired. To me, it seems like it's really improved the more I've been focusing on taking care of my mind or shifting my interest in a few other directions, but not necessarily looking at poker and saying like, you know, fuck this game, like, you know, like I got to do something else, right? Which is kind of what I did for a long time. Once I got to your question, which was like, you know, what now? Like, what do you do next? Like, okay, you did this, but what does that even mean? Like, what are you even good at? Is that enough? All those questions that, you know, you're probably sound like you're maybe experiencing now. I definitely had to ask myself those questions and come back to the game. And then now that I see the game now as a different sort of like, I see it as a way to just keep growing, just keep improving, just keep getting better, keep understanding how the game works. And through that process, better understand myself and better understand what I want to be doing with the world as well too.
Yeah, I think having that, like realizing that poker fundamentally, like is kind of just like an empty field. I think we put the meaning onto it, right? Like it's so easy to just like you get a bad beat or something, and we attach a whole bunch of meaning to that, and we suffer like because of it. you can, that's like something we're doing in our head, like just as a response to like the thing that's coming up. I had a conversation over dinner with a friend last night, and he said like people think poker is like this like field of dreams. It's like this dream maker, you know, enter the tournament, win it, fantastic, like you're in paradise. But it's actually like a dream killer. Like if you can actually get comfortable with that reality of it, like generally, on average, in my experience, it converges pretty quickly. When you like, poker's going to punish you for making bad decisions. There's a lot of variance in that feedback, but like, it catches up to you very fast. So if you believe something that isn't true, you think that a certain play is good and it's costing you money and you keep making it, whether you notice it or not, that mistake is costing you. So the like fucked up thing is like you can't actually just look at results. Like you can't. There's so much noise in the results that you need to figure out a way of working out the truth, regardless of the fact that you can't basically believe what the numbers are telling you. And I think that's what like sets thriving professionals apart. Like people are either sort of blindly confident because they don't know how much they don't know, and then some of those people run well and then eventually become professionals because they can afford to like pay their tuition, I guess. That seems to be pretty common.
So what do you think? Do you think there's any specific words that you can put to what these things are to quantify it, to separate those kind of people?
Which types of people?
I'd say separate the types of people that I guess can really maintain the belief and confidence and the understanding that they are great professionals, they are winning professionals, versus the struggling regular who, you know, can't really quite, like there's just something missing from the way that they're thinking about it, that they keep kind of beating themselves. Maybe it's a question of like, what is the problem that we're looking to solve for with this question, right? Like we're looking to shift an idea or shift a way of thinking or shift a mindset related to either learning the game or just implementing that strategy consistently, even though in a tournament, right, you're just like, you're not seeing a lot of positive results. Like the tournament player mindset, I gotta like really try to like learn more about how these guys are thinking, because cash game mindset is way different. I mean, the cash game mindset, you're just
take every thin spot.
Yeah, like you're just living a good life. I mean, you're finding good games. You're playing a lot of hands against a player who don't know how to play, right? I mean, like it's living a great life. You know, when you battle other players, I mean, that's when it get different, right? You start
bad table. I'll stand up now.
Exactly, right? Like you know, when you lose 5 buy-ins, like that's great. I'll game select a little harder next time and just play tight. You know what I mean? Like you can there's these simple things that you can do that just really are going to add a lot of EV to your win rate.
A lot of my deepest reviews have just been, if I fold that hand pre, I'm a lot richer this month.
Exactly, right. I mean, that used to be a big thing for me, right? I'd be like, fuck, man. Anytime I'm like in a long session and I'm running bad, I'm like, God, I'm running so fucking bad. And I'm like, wait a second, what did I just get stacked with? Like, should I have really been in that hand pre-flop? And probably not, no. And this was a common thing for me in PLO, because I would 3-bet so many hands pre-flop and so many dog shit hands, and then I'd be like, why am I running bad? It's like, well, you're running bad because you're up in your 3-bet percentage. You're getting all in with marginal hands that are just very, they're very at risk to the stronger range that's always going to have these backdoor draws or these overpairs against your like kind of speculative, adventurous hand that you might continue with pre-flop. So... but it's easy to be like, God, I run so bad. Oh my God, I flopped a full house. The guy had aces. Of course, I knew I was going to stack them. And then I got in. He got aces, right? It's real hard to be like, okay, well, am I running bad or did I just not need to do that play?
Yeah. So, like, you asked what sets people apart. And I think, what you said is sort of like a good illustration of it. Of even just being able to actually come to, like, here's my understanding of the spot, how it works, why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And often on like a technical level or like a sort of like classical coaching level, like the sort of thing you might get in a course, I think there's only like a few really important like essential concepts in poker where like once you get them and then you look maybe at sim outputs through that sort of lens, you're essentially at a professional level of like understanding. Mm-hmm. And then it's just about implementing it through like a lot of repetition, you know, like you get better at ranging your opponent, you get better at knowing what like equity this range has against that range, or like you unlock more strategic concepts of why we're doing this, like what it actually achieves. So there's like just purpose to things. Mm-hmm. And when something doesn't add up, like I feel uncomfortable in this spot, I don't know what's going on, I can't explain it, and I feel like I'm losing there. Mm-hmm. You're ignorant, listen to that and go and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people who don't make it very far move away from that discomfort. They've got like compensation mechanisms to actually avoid it, where they might tell themselves they're doing it.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
it's very easy to see like, well, like these beliefs can be like imprinted in us too, where it's just like, oh, it's all just hard work and like a matter of time. But like there are points in my life where like I've wasted multiple years of my life essentially. There'll be like a few key moments in maybe a year that were like all of my growth for that year. And I get that stuff isn't linear, but this time like I've just completely wasted my time, like honestly, a lot. Because like my mindset's been off in that way.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it as a waste. I could see one way to think about it as waste. Other way to think about it as you need to experience whatever went down in that time period before you got to that point. I mean, you're basically like saying that you expect yourself to have these rapid learning jumps, right? These epiphanies, these light bulb moments continuously whenever you hit the wall and you're like, okay, like, you know, I just don't think you can expect to have it happen right away.
Totally.
Even though we want to rush it, we want this dream reality, we want the new reality, we want the end result to be present today. But I think from what I've been studying and how I've been thinking about it, I mean, listen, I'm kind of trying to figure out ways. Is this a limited belief? Like, is it possible to really reframe rapidly and shift completely?
I think like maybe the most important question in life is just like, what do I actually want?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not like pretty clear on that, whether or not it's like easy to articulate, you're just gonna do a bunch of like random default socially programmed stuff. Like you're gonna probably be on social media too often and make bad eating choices and spend more money than you need to. Like we'll just sort of like set up for that by default.
Mm-hmm.
And then in like subtle way, there's just like just pursuing a career that you're not interested in, because like but that's like what you're supposed to do, and it's scary to even think about the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Like that stuff freaks me out. You know, it's the things like unconsidered.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying one. I thought something interesting what you said earlier. You said that being a professional is repetitive, and I guess that's a good way to kind of describe it. Is that if you want to be one of the best professionals at what you do, you are going to be repeating the same things over and over and over again for as long as you're a professional in that industry. So whatever level of excellence that you set for yourself, like if you say I want to be the best at what I'm doing, and however you quantify that, right? Do you quantify that by amount of money won? Do you quantify that by amount of volume plus money? Or what are your indicators? Like let's say for a poker player, for example, I think one way people do that is they quantify it by amount of money won. So they say if I win 200K this year, if I win 300K this year, if I win 500K this year, if I win 50K this year, then I had a successful year. And if I didn't do that, then I'm not living a successful life. I'm not living a good life. It's not what I necessarily want it to. So I think for me, I always set it as like, I just want to be playing against other great players and be winning. And if I'm playing against other great players and winning, then to me, that's success. And then if I'm able to make money from that, then, that's obviously the indicator that it is. It kind of comes to the territory. Like the points come with the achievement from being able to beat the other good players on a consistent basis, or being able to figure out a consistent winning strategy if you're on a site like Ignition or if you're playing in like a soft game.
Is it? Do you think it's the beating them, or is it like this might just be for me, but the experience of just doing something at a very high level, like the flow, like I need to be in a flow state to be playing poker well, like, and if something's off, it's just like really off. So like what I mean by like wasting time too for like those like years, like you. Like say, I can't figure it out all at once. It's just like this process of knowing where you actually sort of want to go, or like getting closer to that, and like iterating and like course correcting and just like figuring things out. If I spend a lot of time not really taking in the feedback I'm getting, and then kind of like adapting through it, you can be too sensitive to that. That's a huge problem. Like you don't want to like change your life strategy because of a bad week. You don't want to be that results oriented. But like for me, that's like I've played like years of poker where my strategy didn't change. And at the end of that year, even though I'd made more money than the year before, I felt like a failure because I was just bored.
Interesting, yeah.
And I didn't even want to show up. I was just like, okay, like I've beaten this game, so I was basically trying to figure out escape. So I was just bored.
So what did you do? Escape? Like what is that? So when you're doing that, what does that look like?
I would just like play other video games, for example, like a lot more, because like that was a similar like the money stopped meaning anything to me, so it was like slightly more interesting. So I'd play things that were like lower hanging fruit mostly. I'm really into like just laddering up, like it used to be Hearthstone a lot, like Magic the Gathering,
Mm-hmm. So you just play other games and try to become a god of those games.
Yeah, and like it'd be so much validation, and like they could like reset the ladder every season. So just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm just gonna spend like 3 days getting to like top 100 in the world and then play this game. Look how cool I am, like, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Which would have been a dream of mine before. Like Magic was my first like competitive obsession.
Mm-hmm. So do you do that now? I mean, do you feel like it seems like you're busy with playing with your coaching as well? I mean, you have a bunch of students, so do you even have time?
This is one of many things that I don't really have time for. But this is the other thing for like distracting it. So like I just need to really be excited about what it is I'm doing, because like to me that's sort of the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll often find myself getting distracted by looking at these other metrics, like the dollar amounts or like what's possible, like just what other people are doing
Interesting.
to like capitalize. Yeah. But I've got to be like, if I can just be like, what do I want to teach? Who
Mm-hmm.
do I want to work with? Like, what problems are interesting to me? Like, what problem do I so want answered that no one else can tell me? That if I find that answer and can teach it to someone, it's like basically priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone actually needs the answer to that problem, and if it's something that is that burning to me that I'm going to actually create something to solve it, then it's probably worth solving. But like
you're solving a problem for yourself, right? You're your audience, you're your customer, you're basing your process off of that with how you're thinking about what you could build that could help other people out, in addition to only potentially poker coaching.
Yeah, it can be tough to like know who the target audience is, but I just find that by talking with people, I guess, because I don't know, like a lot of the like my approach is pretty different than like the mainstream market, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just see like people will just say, oh, I want to know how to do this thing, and there'll be a course and then like 3 copycat courses that are like sort of on that same topic,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're just actually going to put out something unique, it's hard to know how it'll be received. I was pretty overwhelmed by the group coaching, though, like both the level of player that the applicants were and like how well I got along with so many of them. I don't know. I think the right people find you.
Right. Yeah. I think if you stay focused on and you're clear about who you want to attract to you, that or who or what you want to attract to you, that you'll probably end up attracting those people. Like if you want to attract, I mean, for me, I always liked poker players. I loved poker players. I loved all the great poker players. Like I considered myself to be a great poker player. So those people are who I'm attracting. I'm attracting people that are on the same wavelength as me. We get along well. We talk more. I want to follow up with them more. I'm excited to speak to them more. Now, as I'm kind of shifting a little bit to more of like a wider focus, I'm thinking about, okay, how do I buy a casino? Now I'm attracting casino owners to me, right? Like I'm meeting this casino or this casino family member, this casino executive, that executive, right? Like it's sort of shifting because that's where my attention is. My attention is on finding those, looking out for little indicators that might lead me there, going to places where those people might be. And it kind of sounds like what you're building is, or what you want to build is, which I mean, a lot of people kind of build these ideas, like great ideas, is you build these curated communities of people where they can come together like-minded, like you, and everyone can work together to get better at what they're doing. And that sounds like exactly what you built with your coaching program. And it seems like people are enjoying it, I'm guessing, or what's the feedback like? I mean, what are people like? Are they coming back? Are they renewing? Like, how does all that work?
Feedback's been good so far, but like most people have just paid up front for like the 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And not like collecting like weekly graph samples or something, but people are doing well. Most people who joined were already winning players, so hard to say. But a lot of people have moved up like 2 stakes since, like the micro stakes players, gone from like 50 to like 200. And
it's pretty sick. I mean, if you can like help a guy make or a girl make an extra 50K, 100K, I mean, that's pretty incredible.
My favorite comment is like, since joining this program, I'm playing less and winning more than ever before.
Right. I mean, this was, God, yeah, that's such a funny thing to think about, because in our mind, I know that I always used to be wired that I need to play more to win more. And what I started to realize is that less is more. There's like this pie chart graph I saw that I posted on Twitter, which always does really well for engagement. And it talks about how taking a break and taking rest and really clearing your mind, resetting your vision, getting clear on your intention, getting clear on your path is a vital part of succeeding. And I was like, fuck, that makes a lot of sense. But I never used to think that way. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. If I'm uncomfortable, if I'm having a problem, I'm trying to run through the wall versus just take a step back and maybe try to look at it differently.
This is the thing that I think maybe like puts like one of the more like controversial views I have of things is like I think almost always like the problem isn't the problem, like you say, like just trying to confront it. Like we assume this thing is real and somehow like basically not something we're doing to ourselves in a really like subtle like unconscious way. Like obviously we're not deliberately holding ourselves back, like fully knowing that like we oughtn't, you know. Part of us, there's like different forces that are like seemingly in conflict or like need to actually come to an agreement about something to make it happen. So like for playing more volume to win more, like if you actually really want to play and you're going to be engaged, it'll probably work out well for you. And it's like, I love poker, I want to play more, I want to win, I'm just like excited. The money does motivate you, that's fine. Like great, like just grind. But I'm just like, I'm meant, people are telling me I should make more money. And like my volume is like the lowest on like out of this group of guys. Like I've really got to step it up. It's like maybe not, you know. Like I could play like 100,000 hands of like 200 zone on stars in a month because it's fun. It wouldn't be a great way of making money. I still might do it, but like I don't know. A lot of people just don't have the option. Like so, like I hear so much shit about Ignition players. That's a topic actually. I think
Ignition players,
like
yeah.
This like sort of elitism about like Euro pools or like known pools or like Ignition and like apps aren't real poker or like live isn't real poker, tournament isn't real poker. There's just so much like shit slinging where like every reg thinks they're good, but actually every reg in every format is very bad. Every single one. So.
Bro, what do you think? Make them angry, bro? What do you mean? Why are they bad? What are they doing? What are they doing?
So, I mean, good and bad.
What about the ones you're coaching?
I'm bad too. I'm terrible. It's just it's all relative, right? So like, if you're gonna have your ideal be like, okay, how do I beat this guy? Like that's practical and that's like cool, and it's actually very easy. You know, if you just get clear on, if you can figure out someone's strategy, and then there's a way of logically figuring out how to develop a counter strategy, and if you have like any aptitude for the game, you're going to figure out how to like put that into practice once you sort of have a plan. Like that's the entire process. You just got to like find people you can actually successfully do that against, or have people, you know, arm you with those same tools. So like to beat like a certain player and like be relatively good, like that's sort of the beauty of poker. Like you don't actually have to be like a top 100 player in the world to be a professional poker player. It's so cool. It's like the only game where there's probably like what, like 100,000 professionals, because you just have to be like the least bad guy at the table.
Right. I mean, if you get one good private game and you're the third best player, I mean, you're living a good life, right? Because the eighth best player kind of keep rotating in, and usually not that good because they're usually the loser. So the skill really is just getting people that have the money that you want to win, whether you want to make $1 million or $10 million or $50,000 or $20,000. It's about finding the players who can afford to play in that game. So we sort of rely on the poker site usually, right? Like think about the normal process. We go to PokerStars. So PokerStars is doing the marketing. PokerStars creates the product. PokerStars handles the money. They handle the security. And then we get the privilege of putting money on the site and then participating against the other players in the game. And then we got to compete with the other best players, the other regulars at our stake if we're playing high stakes, to be able to get the pleasure of playing with the VIP when the VIP sits down. And that's going to be a normal process of how I would say some players are going to make money if they're not the better players who can handle battling and they find those edges against regs, right? Not easy to do.
It's worse now too because the ecosystem is like full of the like stable regs basically.
Right. So here is where the game selection comes in, right? Because now it's never been easier to find another game. It's just that the process of how to think about that has changed for me a lot of ways, right? Because when you take a look and you say, okay, like what makes a winning poker game for you as a player? Basically, you got to have people in there with money who willing to lose it, who are you're theoretically better than, right? If you're going to design a perfect game, you might design a game with you and then 6 other players or 1 other player or 2 other players, maybe 3-handed, maybe heads up, depending on what you like to play, that are assuming you want to make money, right? Now, if you mention in fun, if you bring in these other factors, right, this is where it becomes a bit more complex.
And at anything other than high stakes, the rake is so high that like if you're playing those stakes, you're not going to have like a skill edge on like a reg that like lets you beat the rake. Like you just can't really win in like an all reg game at those stakes unless you're playing way lower than you should be. So that just create like there's this naturally sort of like predatory sharkfish environment that everyone's like kind of used to, right?
I mean, I wouldn't even say, I guess predatory.
Predatory is like predatory
in the sense that you are trying to make money. I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to make money as a player. Where am I going to go? Am I going to go to the player that is going to give me some issues, and then I'm not making money against, or am I going to go try to play with the players who I'm making big win rate against that are going to give me money with bad plays?
I don't even tend to think about it as predatory, actually, even though I said that, I guess. It's I just think that there's the reality that like it's negative sum, where it's not even just like be like one of the better players at the table. It's like you have to beat that game for so much that you're also beating the house edge. And so that forces you to just like, especially at low stakes, only take good spots, basically only play with fish for the most part. It is very hard to like break through with, like if you can't get games with fish and you're stuck at micro stakes,
wow,
that's unbeatable.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
this is the biggest trap, right? It's like the game gets easier as you move up in stakes, more or less. There's certain skill levels that maybe certain people can't get into or won't be bothered to. Like you can't just play like high stakes known pools, again all reg games, and just like crush that. But like the rake goes down so much, micros to small stakes to high stakes. The regs don't get that much better. So the main thing is like how many fish are there? Like are you actually able to get in volume with fish?
Interesting. Yeah.
Whereas like micros, like everyone's just so like if you can't beat like, it doesn't matter what the rake is. If you can't beat like 2NL or 5NL for like 10 big blinds, like you've got a lot of work to do on just beating weak players. So like a lot of people will ask me like how to like make the most money at like 5 or 10NL, and it literally doesn't matter. It's like such a, unless that's life-changing money for you, where like playing 10NL like is a livelihood, in which case great. That's good news. That's very doable. You should just be trying to absolutely smash those games, because until you're smashing them, like why do you even want to play higher? There's so much you've got to learn. Like if you can't beat the weakest players for the max, it's the simplest strategy and it makes you the most money. So like do that first.
So yeah, it makes sense, right? Like you're saying that the biggest, like the way that we make money is against the bad players, right? And the bad player, what does that mean? It usually means that the bad player is playing a lot of hands pre-flop. That usually means on the flop, they're taking a lot of that wide range and they're continuing with bottom pairs, backdoor flush draws.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like they don't even play the correct pre-flop strategy, which is as simple as looking something up. And honestly, in this day and age, like I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like it's kind of inexcusable to not understand pre-flop anymore. I mean,
they're just
really.
doing, like they're telling themselves they don't care, or like they can't be bothered. Like their motivation isn't the same. Like they want to play more hands. They get bored. That's part of why live is good. Like no one's just going to sit there and fold for 2 hours if they're a recreational player. It's not going to fucking happen. That's part of why zone is bad, is because the fish can actually fold more. Usually they're still like, those guys are just crazy enough that if you know how to hold on, you'll be all right. But yeah, like just fish getting bored. Like that's level one. Like that's why live poker is always going to be great. Because like skill one is like actually just learn to play like basic, tight, and not like blow up. If you can do that, you are well ahead of the curve of like a low stakes live game.
Learning not to blow up. That's it. Because that's what you really see when you're studying and you look at the numbers, the blunders, these massive blunders, avoiding the massive blunders is a huge thing, because the other mistakes that you make sometimes are very marginal mistakes. I mean, a few chips here or there, sometimes maybe even break even. But really understanding how to avoid those blunders. And that's obviously what a lot of people, when they get out of their A game, that's when the blunders start to set in. And when they're in the B game, when they're tilted, when they're tired, that's when they see the punts happen. And I mean, those are obviously very common for most poker players. I think all poker players are going to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why the mindset's so important, right? Like, I experienced this. You see so many people in like whatever cycle of just, there's a level of success that like we're not actually ready for because we don't know what we'll do if we have it. So like, I think especially if you're chasing a goal that you know won't fulfill you, which we talked about a bunch of them, that's like looking at money, like proxy goals, because you don't know what you want, so you're going to go after the thing that like you're told to want. Yeah, like so many regs will self-destruct. So the amount of poker players with like gambling problems, where it's like if they've won enough, it's like, oh, fantastic, I get to just gamble 40K now. And it's like, I mean, you had a clear path to just like keep stacking and like going up. And it's like, but you just taught shit. Or people just like stop playing or stop studying or anything like that. You just get like comfortable because you achieve what you needed to achieve. So you need to figure out something that isn't like
self-destructive.
Well, yeah, like certainly not
bankroll destructive, right? I mean, this is my issue is that the habits I look to were debatably destructive habits where I kind of like, the big thing that really hurt me for a period of time was that I had that clear vision. I had that clear focus. I knew what I wanted. And then once I got it, I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know how to handle getting finally what I dreamed about. And then once I was there, maybe I didn't know how to handle it, right? I said, fuck it. Let me just try some new things. Like I grinded hard. I sat in my fucking bedroom. I worked my ass off. I played all these hands, and then I got to where I wanted to get to. And then I said, let me try other things in life. And then when you try to mix that back in, I mean, this is really important stuff, I think, for long-term poker players to think about, right? Like people that are being a professional at poker, is that what are you going to do year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8? Like, how do you adjust? How do you think about it? How do you go from achievement to comfort back to really grinding, like reframing your goal, resetting your goals, reshifting your vision that keeps poker in there to an extent that can allow you to continue to do it, continue to enjoy it, continue to be happy, and then while also pursuing these other intentions, and then being able to do that in a healthy way is essentially what I'm learning now, and I'm trying to get better with.
I feel like that's what sets a lot of my coaching apart, is like those are the questions I'm trying to answer. I'm not interested in helping people just like make a living at poker. Like if that's your reason, it's like I want money, and it's like, why do you want the money? And then like there's no more conversation. Like you don't, like I just don't care. That's not interesting. Like I couldn't have not played poker. Like it just grabbed me like really deeply. And like I have been like addicted to it at times. Like it's such a fine line, but just like playing it for unhealthy reasons, like playing it to avoid things, or playing it because when I played it, I was connected to my dream of like unbelievable riches, basically.
Right.
Like I'm gonna make it big, like sort of delusions of grandeur. Honestly, at the time, like especially for that to be like the motive, and that would just lead to self-destruction, because I'm playing trying to create or like uphold this image, and then I have a bad session or I have a bad month, then that like, and now I'm feeling bad. My confidence goes down. I start losing more. I feel worse about myself. I now lose the ability to play, because my motivation for playing is that like I can tell myself I'm a winning great player. So now like I'm just completely fucked anytime variance hits me. So like when I needed to win, I just basically couldn't win. I would inevitably like any new thing, any new shot, any like downswing that was a higher dollar amount than I'd faced before would wipe me out for like weeks. I would just have to spend weeks basically going, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter, poker's not real. And then when I came back to it more just like, I don't even need this. I'm going to play poker because I want to play poker, and if it doesn't work out, I'll do something else. I'll be fine.
Right.
It was no longer life or death. And then I could just do the next like best step I could find. I became mentally stable, and then people were actually like willing to talk to me, and there you go. You know, because like you talk about like attracting like the right sort of people. Like when I was really serious about doing this poker thing right, and I wasn't just gonna. I felt the shift when I knew I wasn't just going to punt my bankroll off. Like, I had a tension of just like, I'm going to blow this, it's always going to go away. One day that ended. And I was like, I'm not going to go broke. And that was like a mindset shift. There was nothing like I achieved.
Right,
like
you expected to build your bankroll versus lose your bankroll.
Yeah, I mean, like I knew if I lost my bankroll, it would be due to like a series of misfortune, and I'd be able to like get that money back very quickly.
That was like my biggest hurdle for so long in my poker career, was that I was very happy to lose money because I always knew I'd make it back, and I enjoyed the process of grinding it all back more than the process of just like chilling the fuck out and not just blowing up. Right, like my blow up would manifest itself in that I would try to move up stakes, like just like in a weird way, like under-rolled, like harder games, like play too many tables, even though I knew like game select harder, just like kind of chill out, play less tables, like just really focus on your decisions. And I was like, oh, I got to do it the same way I do my lower stake approach, right? I just like not.
You were telling me earlier you were like quite like you had a pretty stable like shot taking process, at least at lower stakes, right? Like,
for lower stakes, yeah, it was pretty much like, you know, I wouldn't move up permanently until I beat every stake. Like I want to beat every stake, start the smallest one, move up to the big one.
Yeah, and you told me you wanted to be like crushing the lower stakes. So it's funny that like high stakes, where like you have the most incentive to actually like protect yourself and manage your risk.
Where it's
like at the time where it matters most, your edges are thinnest, the damage is way bigger, and the difference in lifestyle is the most negligible. It's like, okay, I want to be able to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I want the risk of ruin so I can build it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you do. Like that's who you are.
That's crazy, right? Because that is how I thought about it for a long time.
When my back's to the wall, like I thrive.
Right.
That's when I get the best out of me because I can't afford to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if a gun is to your head, you're gonna do all right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been too passive lately. Vegas has sort of woken this up in me again. But like I remember playing for like days at a time, and it wasn't healthy and it didn't work out. Bad strategy. But now I'm a much better poker player. So there are times where it actually kind of does work out.
Mm-hmm.
And so just being able to like let it rip when I feel it and I actually want to play. Like if I want to play enough, it doesn't actually matter if I'm tired or whatever. If I'm just like showing up to work, then it's like, oh damn it, I should have gone to bed earlier. I should have had a run. I only feel like 6 out of 10. Do I even want to show up today? Like, fuck it. What's that? Like why am I not like waking up going, holy shit, I'm so fucking stupid. I'm so bad at poker. Everyone is so bad at poker. Like I didn't really like finish my thought on that too. It's just like we compare ourselves to the baseline so much. Everyone's comparing themselves to the same fucking PO sims. Like there is still room to absolutely break the mold, break the game, use bet sizes and strategies that other people aren't using. Many of these are publicly known and like common solver strategies that people just don't bother to play. But
you have an example?
So like there's a lot of just like flop c-betting things where like flop overbets, for example, or like larger flop sizes, or especially like turn sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Turn overbets are a big one, where like the turn overbet on a great deal of textures are just pretty much the preferred bet size.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the solver, it'll just go this, like we might use like 3% of this size, but like 60% of our range is overbetting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 Broadway boards, range of energy.
Yeah, I would say right the the Broadway boards, right? 10 Jack, Ace King, King Queen, ones where you have the asymmetrical advantage pre-flop.
It tends to be boards where like strong top pair plus is like really nutted.
Okay.
And especially if they like want protection. So like the 2 Broadway boards are a big one. Like there's a lot of gut shots and like connected hands and like second pair to target. You just make everything miserable, and you got that advantage. There'll be like low like 9-4 deuce on the flop. You might go big. Because like if you bet tens or like you bet anything and they fold like an overcard or 2 overcards, that's all right for you.
Mm.
And you also just like you want to get the money from like a lower pair before the board gets worse for them and stuff. So like there's just things like that people aren't doing people are just scared to pull the trigger on before everyone's doing it. So like some people like once everyone's doing it, you don't have that much edge doing it.
Got it. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for plays to make that no one else is doing right now. That will give us an edge, and those might not necessarily be intuitive. Do you think?
I mean, you have to actually like just go one step further than what other people are doing. So you need to be engaged in the thought process of like playing poker again. Like this is where like GTO type stuff can just become a huge trap. Like my opponent's range is different than it's meant to be at the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
You can compare that. So if you know where it's different, because you either have a tell or you just like know a strategy leak they have, something they're going to miss, you can kind of tweak the ranges that way. So you can either run your own PO sim and see what happens and learn from that, or you can kind of learn to do that in your head because a lot of the patterns are kind of similar. Like often it's fairly straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's a simple thing that people aren't doing. You need to at least have like a simple bare bones internalized process of what's their range, what's the sort of calculation that I want to do with my strategy, and then now what am I going to do in practice? And you have to like, you know, everyone has a skill ceiling of like what they can actually implement, so we have to simplify, but like.
Do they? I mean, I guess that's what people are talking about, right?
So
like
can't play like the machine, I guess is actually a better way of saying it. Like the goal of let me get a perfect strategy, memorize it, play that forever. I have the answer to poker. That's the completely wrong approach for so many reasons.
Right. So you're saying you want to build a more simplified strategy with bet sizes, maybe one option, check or bet, small, check or bet, small, plus overbet. Sort of just building a strategy out that you can consistently repeat over and over and over again without trying to worry about being exact as you could be in terms of what the outputs are. I think, do you feel as people are coming to that realization more? Because it seems like that's starting to be a trend in poker, the idea of simplifying poker strategy and simplifying the 1/3 bet and simplifying in GTO.
So like, I think people are realizing that you can't, I mean, not even just memorization, but learning from too many things, having too many options is just really overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you could probably use like full bet sizes and like crush high stakes if you did that well. I'm sure like a good bot could do that. Bet size just isn't so important. You want like small, medium, large, huge.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably fine. Doesn't matter if it's 250 or 150 pot for your overbet. Like, who cares? Sorry, what was the question?
I don't know. It's a good answer for anything. I mean, kind of we're just talking about the art of like simplification, right? I mean, it seemed like that's like a big trend
So like the main thing, the value to having a baseline like simplified strategy, which over time it'll just like naturally upgrade it, is like poker's really big and it's really complicated. So you just need to like figure out how to cover most of the tree and like not punt pretty quickly. And so even good players do that because like most decisions, I mean, if you've spent any time with solvers, you'll see like most hands can mix. It means like, it doesn't matter what you do against Pio with that hand; it can do whatever it likes. It can only be a problem if like you have an imbalance where you're doing too much of one thing, you've got too much value, not enough bluffs, and then they get to just like counter you by like folding too much, calling too much, whatever.
So then, in the idea of playing against other regulars, the edges then to me start to come in the way that you treat your mind, the way you treat your body, the way you think about life, the overall mindset that you have. If your goal is to compete against other best players, unless you're good at finding like your own way of thinking about things that other people can't figure out, or how would you articulate that? What do you think the differences are between the best players right now that you're seeing?
I think people have different edges. They've got like different lanes. Everyone I know who I sort of revere as a great player and tends to just like consistently crush and like they're going to be in the game for a long time, they have their own view of the game. They have their own way of like phrasing things. We'll be able to like talk about what's essentially the same thing with very different words, but know like what the other person is talking about. Like yeah, there's just that sort of like baseline understanding and like connection to it, I guess, and then like being actually really obsessed with it because it's just super easy to get lazy.
Yeah, I mean that was like the first thing I wrote in my book a long time ago. The qualities of a successful poker player, chasing the poker dream. Obsession is like a huge fucking one. You got to be like really to be the best. I mean, I'm talking about like I mean, this is like a more of a niche concept, right? Most people don't want to be the best. They don't want it. They're not saying I want to play the high stakes. They're not saying I want to beat other strong players.
And that's great too.
Agree.
Because like
a lot of people.
If you're really clear on that, it is a complete. You never need to look at a solver in your entire life.
Right.
If you want to make like $100 an hour playing live poker, you don't need a solver.
Right, or if you want to win in a soft game. I mean, once again, right, this is more of the competitive mindset, right? I always thought about poker this way of like I'm competing with myself. If solvers were a thing when I was grinding every day, I'm like living my solver now. I love it. It's like so much fun to play around with, to see what it says, to see the outputs, to figure out how to implement the strategy, to figure out how to simplify the strategy. I mean, I've been really in love with that process, and it's interesting. I mean, I never thought I'd be back to that point with thinking about poker that way. But the more obsessed you are about anything you're doing, to me, the better you're going to be. Not necessarily obsessed like I got to be doing it 24 hours a day, but obsessed in that you're obsessing about staying focused on what you want to get out of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think you need that genuine interest too, because you can't fake it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can work hard because you want to be someone who like looks like they're working hard. Or you can be like naturally obsessed with something because you really want to know the answer to that question. And then if you have, any talent or like sensitivity for it, you're going to be able to like realize when you're wasting your time at a certain point. And everyone wastes a lot of time, but you just do what you can. That's what I'm most passionate about in coaching is just like saving people wasted time.
Do you have any examples of things you may be saving people on? Because what you just said was very subtle, but I thought really powerful because you said that you don't need to, you can embrace your vision, right? If your vision isn't being the best competitive player against the other great players, like, and you just want to game select, playing soft games, there's really nothing wrong with that. Whereas some people might see that option. I saw this option as like, like that's you can't ever do it like that. Like, why would I ever want to do it like that? And now I say, no, it makes a lot of sense, right? Live a nice life. And
yeah, it's a really insidious form of like self-sabotage, I think, or like just not pausing and like reconsidering that. And it's sort of narrative that gets talked about a lot too. Like you don't necessarily until you're sort of in the inner poker world like see the reality of what it is. I mean, even like most people watching high stakes, they think it's like the best players in the world battling the best players, and the ones who like make the money are the ones who are just like beating out the other one. Like short of like Linus Love playing Berry Sweet or something, it's the same sort of formula at high stakes. Like they're mostly waiting for fish. The people who are winning the most on all the sites at high stakes are game selecting hard. It's possible to get an edge on regs, like a big one. It's uncommon. Like you can tell when people are doing it. You can see the strategic pioneers. I'm struggling to think of any who aren't literally just playing the higher stakes. Like the people who are pioneering new strategies.
Who are some of those pioneers right now that you're seeing that's catching your eye?
I mean, everyone knows Linus. I haven't been following him lately, but like, what's his name? Stefan one.
Stefan Sondheimer
Well, Stefan Sondheim.
or Stefan 122.
Stefan 122. So I'm thinking of though.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just does absolutely messed up stuff. You can tell his strategy is kind of fluid and like really adaptive, and he'll just do things just to throw a spanner in the works.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very likely very good at predicting how people are going to respond to like what he's doing. He's like better at playing that guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like kind of like nosebleed level version of like what Phil Hellmuth does with his weird like checking dark stuff, where he's just doing bizarre things and getting a read on you. And if his reads are really good, like doing things for information live is not actually all that silly. I feel like Stefan does the same thing, but it's just like it's so high level. It's really hard to get what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Do you is there an example of a moment or an instance that stands out that I guess makes you come to this conclusion, or what are you basing this off of?
So he'll just the simplest thing in terms of like it being innovative, right? I think like the good but not world class. I mean, it depends what we're defining it. Like good winning players who can pretty much win in any lineup, like they win in any live game. They're just strong theory guys. They're still like mostly just trying to follow what the robot does, and they're trying to like understand the game, and they're going to be differently good at adjusting, right? But most of them are just trying to like sort of refine their baseline strategy, and then they have different aptitudes at like actually adjusting to different opponents. They can like maybe pick up on more information, or they trust it more, whatever. So I found this sort of roadblock in strategy development where if PO doesn't basically agree, like if PO doesn't say that hand is allowed to do that thing, or that hand is almost allowed to do that thing at the very least, like you can even go that. Most people don't know this. When you look at like a mixed strategy, that says 0 EV and PO, and it doesn't matter. But you can also just see a hand that's like almost identical EV, right? But it's not mixed. It's like that's like 0.01 big blinds less for that action. And it's like, okay, well if that's a bluffing hand and they're folding more than that sim, that hand is now a pure bet. Unless you have some other plan to make up for that. That hand would just shift pure bet if you node lock that in PO. Very simple, like first like thought stuff. But if PO will just not like tell me I'm allowed to do the thing with the hand, I'll be really scared to do it. Stefan will do things like it will say, here's your betting strategy, like you're meant to bet big when you're probing like this ace high board. And not all the time, but often he'll use like a small bet size. He'll just go like 1/3 there. And then he'll show up with like a hand I would just never guess. He'll just do like the exact counterintuitive thing. He'll like probe second pair on like an ace turn over card, small for like 1/3, and then like somehow just check and win on the river. And there's all these things he's doing that are just like not approved. So it's like you have to put that through a personal like brain solver. Like nothing is going to validate that for you except your own judgment. You can't just go, oh well, PO says it's indifferent, which actually like a lot of people use as a safety blanket, I think. But like everyone, I'm saying like that's just like the state of the game. Like we want to do things that like are being validated by something because we can't trust the poker hands.
So I guess innovation. I mean, to innovate, you have to innovate and see how people react, and then you have to make your own decisions if that's a good or bad strategy. Whereas someone else can kind of look at it from the outside and say like, well, that's just a bad play.
Yeah, but the things like innovation is risky because like I've got here I am with a winning strategy at high stakes. Do I want to do this thing, or is it even worth my time? I don't know yet. So for me, I need to just like have a genuine interest in getting better at the game. Because otherwise, I'm just like, maybe I should do something else.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing I'm seeing in Hold'em right now is it's all the most interesting things to me that have been interesting for 15 years, which are how aggressive can you be and how wide can you go pre-flop, and how now the overbet is really fascinating to me because you're sort of saying, using the small bet as like an innovative idea on certain textures with like a maybe a little bit wider of a range that isn't necessarily intuitive to what you normally would study and look at. And I'm sort of thinking like, well, the edges are in the situations that you aren't often in, which are typically going to be more aggressive situations, more check raising, more raising on the flop, more 3-betting pre-flop with different ranges. Because if you're solving for a set 3-bet range and now my 3-bet range is 10% more than that, you haven't necessarily done that work or put in that effort to get to that point, because I mean, that's a pretty challenging thing and not often something you're going to see, and So to me, when I think about building edges, I mean, these were always the edges in PLO are just aggression pre-flop. The people who can handle it better, who are comfortable handling it, are the ones who can do well and can excel and can really put you in uncomfortable spots, going back to what you said earlier about the uncomfortability of a problem, of a situation.
Yeah, the general trend is that if you put people in uncomfortable spots, like I think there might be a sort of curve by a stake where at higher stakes people are much happier to take big risks and just like lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like people will be more curious. They might actually over defend a lot of the time, but pretty much yeah, you put people in uncomfortable spots and they're going to overfold on average. Like what allowed me to become an aggressive player was just realizing how to consistently identify the spots that I'm probably punting if I try to bluff.
Right.
I had this tendency to be like, wow, no one ever bluffs here. It would be so sick if I bluffed here. No, literally no one bluffs here. They have to fold. Like I know they have top pair good kicker, but they have to fold. And then they're just like, I have top pair good kicker, and I don't know how to read your hand, and so they would call.
Mm-hmm.
There's spots like that just happen everywhere. That's sort of how like poker works. Like there's just spots where like their range is so strong you're not meant to bluff. Like your strategy is just to never raise because they're so strong. If you miss that because you're like, oh, I have a blocker, you've learnt poker wrong. You just have these random ideas floating around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the way I'm thinking about Hold'em versus PLO strategy for that is kind of interesting because PLO bluffing strategy is way different because it's like in some spots
everything's got equity, right?
Yeah, like basically in a spot where you can call a turn and then you can, if you have the flush draw, you can bluff the full house pairing, you can bluff the straight card getting there, right? Like if they just check, you can just potentially bluff sometimes because they would never check a strong hand there, and you can essentially represent so many hands, even slow plays. So that concept is like almost doesn't even really exist in Hold'em. In some ways it does, on some textures it might, but in PLO this is like a very common thing that you can start doing on the turn, on the river. And I guess I'm thinking more heads up ranges are way wider, whereas 6-max, the ranges do get a lot tighter, so maybe that concept can start being applied. So I guess
it comes up a lot in Hold'em. It's one of those things that like I don't think most people have a really good way of thinking about it either, and the people who are really good at it don't know what they're doing as much.
Interesting.
It's not about combo counting, for example, but at some point I can kind of range my opponent, when it's narrow. Mm-hmm. Or I learned to like chunk ranges into what's relevant and what they probably have a lot of, So like even just little insights like fish are likely to like call a lot of offsuit combos to a 3-bet. There's way more offsuit combos than suited combos. Like 12 to 4, something like that. So like a fish is going to have like a lot more like dominated top pair. Like if you've got ace queen or king queen on a queen high board, that fish might have queen jack offsuit, queen 10 offsuit. Mm-hmm. There's now dozens of more combos that your top pair is like dominating, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So like for me, it's like getting clear on those big things that actually lead to like strategy shifts that matter, because like just getting that, you might be really clear now on expanding your value threshold against fish.
Right. That's
or just realizing boards they hit a lot more. Because other times it's like, well, this like, oh yeah, like they've got 2 combos of 2 pair because they just have the suited Broadway on the queen 10-4, so they've got 2 of them, and I block one of them, so they got 1 of them. Okay, great. Blocker super relevant now because if they have 0.2 bluffs or something, they're over bluffing.
Mm-hmm. So what you're describing as an exploit is understanding how to crush a fish, right? Understanding how to take out the mindset of I got to do this versus maybe I can just bet bigger, right? I mean, that's usually how you extract value, right? You bet more. You're betting bigger. You're betting bigger amounts. You're betting wider hands. You're not just betting top pair, top kicker. You're betting sometimes second pair, top kicker, second pair, maybe no. You know what I mean? It's just
very often people like they're not even. It sort of depends on what the fish and like their mood and like the hand. They're not necessarily thinking about what you have, or like they're good at reading their hand in relation to the board. Mm-hmm. It's like flush card, overcard, flush card comes. They know that their second pair is bad a lot of the time now. They're probably going to fold on the river most of the time, unless they hate your guts and then they call it. They're not like, okay, what's your range for this size? Like, it just doesn't even enter people's heads. So if you're like trying to play something about like protecting your range or like your image or like theory doesn't use this size, or I don't know how I'm balancing that size, or my range wants to go this size, you're just like, you're handcuffing yourself against an opponent where you should just be freestyling. Mm-hmm. But like the things that you rely on to freestyle, again, they don't really get validated by anything in particular until you see how they show up time and time again as like principles. Like the essential truth of poker lets you make good predictions where like it's going to line up with like peer. You know, like you're gonna want more equity when you're bluffing out of position. Like that's just a general rule. You'll see that shows up again and again and again, and it's just because of how poker works. When you understand that, now you can like just do whatever you like. And so like live is great because it really does feel like everyone is freestyling. Like I just don't. I'm not there believing that some guy is there randomizing, standardizing his fucking C-bet range. I just don't buy it. Like someone might range bet or something. That's about it. Online, people are at least pretending that they're trying to like master some fixed strategy that they'll play forever.
Yeah, well, live poker, a different game. I mean, live poker, like I mean, you're still crushing fish, right? That's basically what poker is about: is dominating bad players, dominating bad plays, like
and surviving against tougher players, like just not crumbling under the pressure.
Right, and being able to handle what they're going to bring and being able to give it back to them and be able to be comfortable and confident in yourself.
Which is what's so tragic about that aggressive shot taking thing. Like that's like I just have to not make that mistake. That's like been why I like just never even played MTTs. It's just like what if I just go broke, man? Like what if I just start chasing?
Yeah.
So like I fired 4 bullets and I was like, okay, like now the itch is gone.
Yeah. So you told me you're like I fired the first tournament you came to town. So this is your first time in Vegas. I mean, we could have spent
America.
First time in America. It's your first time in America here.
So America is Vegas. And I'm not going to change my mind.
Okay, well that's not accurate. Vegas is like a different kind of planet. So what are your what's the biggest differences you've seen in Vegas and tell us about your trip? Yeah, what are the biggest differences between being here for the first time, maybe what you thought it would be like, and then what it actually is?
I didn't think it would be as dry as it is. I am like I've been taking electrolyte supplements and I'm still like I don't know. I feel like I can't absorb moisture. That's cool. It's colder, much colder, shorter days, and it's way bigger. It's like I've seen pictures of the Strip. It is just so much bigger than I thought. All the buildings are taller. The Wynn is like the Wynn Encore complex is like one of the 5 biggest in the world or something. It's crazy. Like I just haven't seen anything like at this scale, basically. Other than that, I don't know. Everything's pretty mid. I'll be honest.
Pretty mid.
Everything's mid.
Jesus Christ, mid. Huh?
No, the casinos were also like as good as I could have possibly thought. Like,
well, what's mid? What is the girl? What's mid? The girls are mid. The girls are great.
I don't talk to anyone. No, that's mostly like the food. I don't know. I thought it would be more exotic, and a lot of it's just like a slightly different.
Well, where did you eat?
Where did I eat? I ate at there's the diner up on the Strip. What is that called?
The diner, Denny's?
Not fucking Denny's.
Denny's? You're kidding me.
I consider Denny's. No, there's one people.
Now I see why you're eating bad. You got to go to the right spaces.
No, I've been eating a lot of like food at the casino mostly.
Okay, yeah.
Going to like
cafes and stuff.
Cafes
yeah. Earth's pretty solid. I like Earth.
Yeah.
They got a great album with their guys' coffee.
Yeah, they're solid. But
yeah.
I've been spoiled.
Yeah. Okay. So in Vegas, anything stand out for your trip?
Like I've just had to learn to get into the spirit of it. I think like Vegas just works differently. It's just like it's just not something I've been prepared for. So like I gotta live a different lifestyle when I'm in Vegas.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, listen, when I'm here everybody critique the way I live my life in Vegas. Like I'm just going with it. My sleep. It's kind of like poker playing, right? Like sometimes I'm going to bed at 7 a.m. Sometimes I'm going to bed at 11. Sometimes I'm waking up at 8. Sometimes I'm waking up at 3. Like for me, I can thrive in that lifestyle. I can live that life and get energy from it. Whereas a lot of people, they feel like they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I get that feeling, and sometimes I wonder. There's obviously a price to it, but like that's the main reason I'm hesitant to play more live is just like the need to live that lifestyle, because it disrupts any like normalcy I have at home, which I found pretty beneficial. But I think maybe cycles of both is actually good. Like you just got to go and reap the EV. Like you're just not gonna get that sort of action without going to the place where like people are just balling out, like throwing money away because it's like tons of fun, you know.
That's true, right?
Like, you want to actually just be someone who's fun to play with, show up, like take the risk, and just like give action. That's like a tough mindset, like taking like big shots live, because like they can just fucking bust you. But like surely to be invited back to the game, you can't just show up like be a nit, like be some miser. You've actually got to be there like giving action, like Berkey's talking about all the time. Well, like Rampage inspires me. I hope I can keep a Rampage image, but like I think I'm turning into a nit now.
So Rampage Poker, right? You said that Rampage Poker was inspiring to you, right? You told me that before we got started.
I mean,
so
like,
what is what Rampage been doing that's been inspiring you?
He's just like pretty fearless. Like he's just firing. he just like knows it's gonna work out. Well, like he clearly cares. Like he's getting better. Like every time I'm like looking at any of his hands, he just seems very solid. Like even looking at hands like a few months apart, he was just so obsessed with the game. Like all he was doing is playing and presumably like thinking about it and doing content. And he just like gets in good spots, and he has a style that like naturally like sort of intuitively beats the average live player. He's just like really well positioned, and I can't speak to how well he's running. It must be pretty good, but I don't know optically. But like you have to be in the spot to like do that. Like him just being in these tournaments all the time and like firing, like he's putting himself in like a really good position. And that just appeals to me. Like I sort of alternated from like degen to like overly conservative and nitty, like just hyper risk management type styles where like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just like show up. I can't punt if I play this really simplified version of the game. Opening that up to like, okay, like I can actually like play poker and still not punt. That balance of like creativity and not just rationalizing to do silly shit. Still something I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like if I don't have that freedom, I don't want to show up.
Yeah, it does seem like he does love the punt. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the hands to know if that's a meme or if that's a reality, but
I've seen him make laydowns that are not easy to make. So he's clearly like trying to win.
right.
I think I think a lot of people just have to get the punts out of their system. Like generally, like to be that aggro and that risk tolerant,
It just happens.
and just like he loves the gamble, you know. And even if he gets like knocked down, and he's gonna feel that pain,
Mm-hmm.
like he knows he's signing up for that, and he's just gonna keep firing. And like, surely he has edge in like the games he's playing. Like surely he's getting in good spots, like live tournaments. He's got to have an edge. It's like what's the worst thing that can happen if he's got like supplemented YouTube income? Like the worst thing that can happen is you go broke and you can't play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's usually the dance. It's like how much risk can you take on? Is this like worth this like upside or downside?
Yeah, and it seemed like he can take on that risk, right? I mean, that's how poker, you can sell action or you supplement your income in other ways.
He can justify it as being good for YouTube, you know, Mr.
Yeah.
Beast style basically.
Well, that's what he likes to do. He says he's a content creator first, and poker is like the vehicle. So the better, I mean, as I basically tell every content creator, the best that you can be, to be the best content creator, to me, if you become the best poker player that you can be, try to become the best player in the world, then your content's going to take care of itself. So if you set your intention to say like, yeah, I want to be playing the high stakes, I want to be playing against the best players, I want to play in the biggest games, I want to play in the biggest tournaments, and now we're getting more and more and more of that access to be able to do that with all the different event series and all the different live streams, then I think that makes the most banger content. I mean, that's like what my content used to be. Was when I wrote, it was following my journey from the 10 cent, 25 cent to the 100, 200, living around the world, living in Australia, living in Canada, fucking, traveling, like trying to live this poker life. So now that poker life has really changed. That dream has changed what it could look like. It could be a number of different ways. It could be through game selecting. It could be through playing poker. It could be through making content. It could be through becoming a professional and coaching. And there's so many avenues in order to build yourself something in poker right now, and so many different ways to do it that I'm inspired by a lot of the people I see out there, Rampage included. Yeah, I think his story, his content, his grind, he reminds me of myself a lot when I was younger, kind of how I would have been. If I was around when YouTube was around, like I'd be fucking running and gunning and taking shots and, kind of maybe living a little bit crazy of a life on the gamble side of things, right? High stakes, playing more poker, so.
The upside is so huge too, right? Like there's asymmetric upside to it. Like if he has to move down and like play lower stakes content or something, compared to, I mean, he's reached legend status now with this like high roller thing, like whether or not he like ended up giving people that like money.
Don't even matter if it's funny. Doesn't even matter if he's winning. It doesn't even matter. That's just kind of interesting. Right? It doesn't even matter if he's winning any money. Like nobody really care if you're winning money at tournament. Really, they care your earnings.
Optically, it is so weird. Like, surely like less than 10% of professional poker players who travel for events are like plus EV after expenses.
Wow. How do you come to that conclusion?
I'm just guessing.
Guessing 10%. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like this, I mean, like hotel fees and stuff are so expensive. Depends where you're coming from. If you're going a city over and like.
I've always wondered how these guys did that. I mean, because you got expenses there normally, like kind of ruining your quality of life. I mean, if you get to know the Airbnb rent-a-car system and take advantage of rewards programs and stuff like that, like.
I think once you factor in the time of travel and everything as well, like it's not just like the travel is free and there's no opportunity cost, and then you're just grinding these hours. Like that's the frustrating thing about live, is there's like all this time and like process around it to get there, And then it is like, yeah, you like better play for like 12 hours, otherwise like.
Yeah. Otherwise you're not gonna see your EV or see your income. Yeah.
You're not gonna get that seat again. You better be willing to play for 36 hours because it's a good night.
That's kind of what scares me about doing more live poker is like, I know that 3 a.m. Dad, I'm going to be like the other game I saw the other day, they're playing like 200, 400. And, you know I can play in the game, but it's like, do you really want to, like, this is what's always held me back from poker, right? Because people wonder like, oh, why don't I play more poker? It's because it's so addicting. And the lifestyle that you need to be able to do these games specifically is addicting. Like, it is addicting going out all night long, gambling all night, having a glass of wine, getting a nice massage from one of the massage. They bring you, you know what I'm saying? Like, that lifestyle, that's what live poker is to me. Live poker to me is not going to the casino. Live poker to me is playing in curated games, private games, playing on stream. Like, that's how you make it as a live poker player. To do really well. And if you want to go play the open casino games, it's just going to be a different kind of life, a different kind of grind. Maybe I think you could probably do that. I mean, I from my experience playing the PLO games in Vegas, there's just not enough volume to really get in. You know, a few people can do it, but I don't think it's like this thing everybody can really do. It's really location dependent.
Much upside. It always seems to be private games, right? Like, you just actually need to get a spot for it to be like reliable.
Yeah, you got to make your game. I mean, that's why I did my first event. You came to it, right? Like, that is where you find the EV now.
I've never lost more money in a live game in my life. That was a tough game, man.
Was it?
That's tougher than 82K. I mean, just based on my results.
Well, I also, small sample size too. Small sample size.
I played for like 4 hours, man.
Yeah.
I played a lot of hands.
Yeah, that's probably why.
I didn't play.
9-handed, you gotta play tight. Yeah. You didn't know that, right? Live poker, you gotta play tight.
No, I did that too.
Yeah.
Then I tried to bluff a live pro and it didn't work.
That happens. What do you think the most inspiring? What's inspiring you the most about poker right now?
I just feel like I'm getting more and more vision over like how open it is, like how much freedom I have to explore it, like how little I know about it, and I'm more clear that like very few people are actually doing that. So I can probably like have my cake and eat it too, because there has been this tension between like, I want to do this exploratory, almost like creative stuff where I don't even know what the payoff will be. It's at least like very non-linear, just investing a bunch of time into like a project. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I've usually like stopped and started and just gone back to like the easy thing, or like I'll do like a like lagging start like 4 times and then eventually I'll like get the answer I was looking for. But
yeah, I kind of said fuck it lately, man. I'm like,
fuck it has been great for everything. Like, just fuck it, just do it. Like,
yeah, I say fuck it, just like do it. It seemed like it's hard. It ain't work out well. You reflect on it. Didn't necessarily go how you think it would go, but
yeah, I think like just doing it more takes the weight away from it. It's the same with playing. Like, it's like if I just like play 4,000 hands with no fish in the like stars Zoom pool and I like win or lose, like if I just like break even, it's like, wow, like we battled, like that was sick. And then I play any other game and I'm just like, this is easy. Like just like actually having that exposure is so major.
Yeah, that's why I like battling. It's because when you are battling against other good players, the confidence that it gives you when you go play against other people is like just like monumental to me, is because I know to me, poker is a game of comfort and comfortability. And if I can be comfortable in all the spots I'm in with you, then I'm going to be making better decisions than you.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing, because like on a downswing or when like the confidence is hurt, that's when I'm most likely to be like, my strategy is off. I need to change something. Like I've just been wrong all this time. And then like I'll just start feeling really good, not do any study, not feel like I'm playing great, and I'm just like God's gift to poker, where like obviously like variance is running my way, but like also all my judgment calls are just right. Every decision just seems easy, and like there's variance in that, but like the psychological effect is just so ridiculous.
Right.
Like, so like, but one edge that like the top players have is just that they are like actually really solid and consistent mindset wise. They'll either stop or they'll stay and consistently play. That's enough for like a big edge, And then it's just about like, so much of it is just like managing finances and risk and like being willing to travel and like find the right games and like actually just giving a shit. Like, it ends up being very logistical. So like, I think the reality of it's pretty mundane. It's sort of like what you make of it. Yeah,
I've been thinking about that. The idea of not being impacted by the run good or run bad, right? And how do you deal with that? How do you think about that? Because some of these sessions, it's just comical. I feel like I run so fucking good that it's comical how good I run in these spots. Like they could easily go the other way, and I don't know what else to attribute it to outside of just like I expect to win all these hands. Like, and that's really the approach I've used for a long time. And when I haven't used that approach is the only time I've ever struggled with poker is when I'm in my own head, when I'm saying, oh my God, that guy's better than me. Like that's the best. I remember this really hits me at like 25, 50, 50, 100 against the most known good players. I sort of psych myself out, and it's like, what exactly are you psyching yourself out about? Even I found myself doing that maybe in the tournament when you see a guy who knows a tournament professional come sit down and you know that this guy theoretically should know what to do. It could be like, oh, like, do I really know what to do? And really in tournaments, I don't know what to do in short stack, right? So it's accurate here. Whereas in a game that I played millions of hands in, it doesn't make any sense to feel that way.
It's been interesting playing a bit of tournaments just to get that contrast, because I played 6 max on Ignition for like 4 years in a row, like very, very similar thing. So just actually having to reconsider things and like know what it is to be properly ignorant, and like feeling like what it is to know something well enough has been kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of gives a lot of argument to just focusing on one thing sometimes. I mean, like, I guess the process of maybe like progressing in something else and like taking back that process or what you learned, or maybe a heuristic back to what you're maybe in your mind is your top thing, is the thing that you're best at.
For me, I think a lot of it is just like, I mean, I always sort of wanted to play tournaments. Like if it wasn't about the money and I was just going to get the same like lump sum at the end, I knew that I'd play tournaments, I think. There's just something that they're more gamified. It's like more of an arc. Cash games almost they feel like something else. It's like it feels like trying to like be a hedge fund or something a little bit for me. I'm just like there trying to like see the objective truth about it and like exploit people's misperceptions and engineer misperceptions if it helps my case. So that's fun. You know, that's one game.
It's such a weird game when you think about it, right? Compared to like content creation, like making money as a media company is so much different than making money at poker, because like media, you could sell a product, you could sell a service. You're either selling your own product, your own service, you're selling someone else's product or someone else's service, and those can vastly vary in terms of how it is. And I guess the idea of marketing, has to do with social engineering. I'm engineering you to care about the problem that I see that my product is now solving for. So obviously how that's done is through coaching training sites make videos on why that you should play a hand well, right? There's this big like propaganda push towards being a good poker player, because most people who are active are selling a product that you need to get better at poker, and the only way to think about poker is to be bad. So I do find that fascinating, how that marketing works, how that engineering works.
They set the frame, right? Like that's the thing. Like whatever the media or like what you're presented with is what you think the options or like the issue is. So it's like hey, you're insecure about your poker ability because you play poker, and like it's sort of like this weird, we've got this hierarchy thing going on, right? Like the better players sort of rise to the top. You want to be a winner. That's cool. Like you don't want to be a bad poker player. Good poker players do this. They study this course. They work with this tool in this way. And they don't actually give you like the meat. They're not giving you specific information on like, here's a serious way to like, here's a good winning strategy that prints money. And funnily enough, if you give people those, most people won't put them into practice. That's been the biggest like mindfuck to me as a coach.
Do you have any examples of that?
I mean, just like genuinely, like you can tell people, here's how to do this thing. Like, here's a strategy that will make money if you play it. And some people just won't play it, or they won't be earnest about like actually learning what's there, or they won't look one step behind it. Like they'll just like sort of follow it linearly, and then if it breaks or they just don't understand something, they just like sort of freeze or something and just wait. But there's other people just like, hey, like one little concept and like something just clicks and they like take off to like high stakes. Because I think if you're just genuinely curious and you have like you do kind of understand the game, or you're putting something together, like you'll learn stuff. And when you reach something you don't know, you'll like figure out the answer to it, or you'll figure out why it's confusing. You know, sometimes like you're missing a piece of information. Sometimes the question is just off. Sometimes you got to find the right person. You just got to talk with the right person. Get your mind open up a little bit to. That's the thing. There are not many good coaches in any field, I think. And they're like in poker's so weirdly negative sum.
Right.
It's tough to trust people. It's tough to actually like properly collaborate with people.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
So like, I think most coaching and certainly most public content is people like they're talking about things that are like kind of true but not really valuable. So like if you're just looking at here, we can look at a sim for like 30 minutes, talk about everything about it, and not actually really learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like not an efficient way of learning. It's not necessarily broken down in a way where like you're becoming conscious of all of the information behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just isn't valuable, but it feels like you're doing a lot.
Well, it's a bigger topic for another time. Let's wrap it up here because we've been doing this for a bit. Yeah, I mean, listen, loved having you on. Got a lot of great stuff in here. Could talk about this for 5 hours. We're going to do that for another time once people get to know you more. So what do people, if they want to follow you, what are they, EQ Poker on Twitter? If they are interested in getting in touch with you, what's the best way? Website, Discord, Twitter? What do you think?
Yeah, EQ Poker on Twitter and Twitch is where I'm most active right now. Have a public Discord server link in bio of the Twitter. Probably the best place to reach me is just like add me there or DM me on Twitter. Email is somewhere on the website as well, but I'm a lot worse at actually responding to those.
And you're coaching for what? You're coaching for just people on Ignition or anywhere?
I'm coaching people from anywhere potentially. It depends what they're doing.
Perfect.
I pretty much only work with people where like I know they're going to have a lot of success, and I'm actually excited to like make that happen.
Perfect. I see. Cool. Yeah. Well, listen, if anybody out there listening to this, I'm sure that they enjoyed it very much. Darius, much love. It was a great conversation, man. Enjoyed it very much. And we're going to get you out of here. We're going to head to the win, see the WPT main event, final table. I don't know when people are going to hear this, but hopefully soon.
It sounds good.
Peace.